All right, Alexander, let's talk about Germany and Biden, a potential Biden presidency if he manages to weasel his way into the White House, which is exactly what he would be doing. It looks like Germany is very, very happy about the situation, and it looks like they're making some moves, most notably with Nord Stream 2, to signal their satisfaction with the potential Biden presidency. What's going on between Germany, Nord Stream 2, and Sleepy Joe Biden?
Well, can we just remind ourselves about Nord Stream 2? Nord Stream 2 is this pipeline, this gas pipeline from Russia to Germany, which goes under the Baltic Sea. This has been the subject of tremendous drama and controversy. The Ukrainians don't like it because it bypasses them. Ukraine's friends, Poland and other countries, the Baltic states don't like it either. They've been campaigning against it. And of course, there's been lots of opposition to it from within the US Congress. And last but not least, in fact, most important of all, Donald Trump doesn't like it. And he's been strongly campaigning against it. Then last year, just as it was about to be completed, the Swiss company that was laying the pipes that were, the last stretch of pipes that are needed to complete it, pulled out because they got scared off by US sanctions. The Russians said that they would complete it themselves. We've discussed many times in our programs that they have all the technical resources they need to do it, and they have the necessary ships to do it, and they're perfectly able to do it if they're called upon to do it. And of course, we then tracked this extraordinarily long journey of the Russian pipe-laying ships from the Pacific to the Baltic, and they arrived in the Baltic ready, it seemed, to start laying the pipes in the summer, and then everything seemed to stop. And it was very strange because for weeks and months, the Germans were saying they were committed to Nord Stream 2. Merkel was saying she was committed to Nord Stream 2. The Russians were giving every indication they wanted to go ahead with Nord Stream 2. But the actual pipe laying wasn't happening. And I have to say, I was expecting it to start. And then when I noticed it wasn't starting, I did begin to wonder why. And sure enough, we've now had the US election. The Germans assume that Sleepy Joe is going to be the next president. In other words, the biggest opponent of Nord Stream 2, Donald Trump, has left the scene. And lo and behold, we've now had the announcement from Germany that pipe laying for Nord Stream 2 is going to resume this month, and it will probably all be over within a few weeks. So it looks as if the Germans were waiting for the outcome of the presidential election in the United States. They were waiting to see the back of Donald Trump, as they hoped, and it's beginning to look as if the completion of Nord Stream 2 was contingent to a much greater extent than any of us imagined, and contrary to what the Germans were saying, on the outcome of the German election. So 2 takes from this. First, it's further proof that the Germans love and are very much looking forward to working with Sleepy Joe. From their point of view, he is the ideal president. That's exactly the kind of person they want to see in the White House. But the other thing to say is that those who expect Sleepy Joe to take a strong line against the Russians may be disappointed. Donald Trump has talked about improving relations with Russia. In fact, he has been very hard on Russia over the 4 years that he has been president. And he's continued, by the way, to be hard on Russia, even after the Russiagate allegations against him collapsed. I suspect that this is, again, Donald Trump, the deal maker, putting pressure on the Russians in order eventually, as he hoped, to make a good deal with them. Sleepy Joe takes a completely different tack. He basically goes along with what the Germans want, which is what in this case the Russians want. So people who expect Sleepy Joe, a Biden administration, to come along and be really tough on the Kremlin may find that they're going to be disappointed. In fact, I have noticed that over the entire course of the transition period, Biden has said virtually nothing about Russia at all.
All right, Merkel hates Trump. Trump hates Merkel. So obviously, Merkel's very happy to see Biden potentially enter the White House and to see Trump potentially out of the White House. On the flip side, I think all of Europe understands that a Joe Biden presidency means more money to be made from various grifts, like what we saw in Ukraine. Yeah. So, I mean, they're all fully on board for that because they all made a killing off of what happened in Ukraine. And I wonder what Russia's position is on all of this, because I'm certain that Biden is going to start a lot of wars that are not in Russia's benefit on the one side. But on the flip side, I'm sure the Russians understand that much like Obama, they'll be able to completely just manhandle a Joe Biden administration. In other words, they ate Obama, for breakfast. Biden's going to be beyond easy for them.
I agree. That's exactly what I think is going to happen. I mean, bear in mind, Obama supposedly tried to put pressure on the Russians in his second term. And what ended up happening? The Russians got a Crimea, they got the Donbass, and they planted themselves in Syria, and they sorted out many of the issues in their economy, and they forged a closer relationship with the Germans, who agreed to Nord Stream 2. The Russians ran rings round Obama. And, this is a fact that people just don't remember very well. Actually, they had more problems with Donald Trump in the end than they did with Obama. So, and the sanctions that Trump imposed on the Russians were harder than the sanctions in the end, which were imposed by Obama. So I think the Russians will be looking forward in some ways to the Americans getting, bogged down again in the Middle East, which is where I think a lot of the focus is going to be. I think they're going to be very happy to continue to cut deals with the Germans, because the Russians have learned that with a Democrat, an Obama, Biden type person in the White House, it's actually quite easy to play the Germans off against the US by cutting deals with the Germans, which the Americans then become extremely averse to breaking, because they feel this obligation towards the Germans. The critical thing about Trump was that he didn't like Merkel, and he was prepared to be tough on Germany too. You can't really be tough on Germany, soft on Germany, and tough on Russia. It doesn't really work, given the partnership, the economic partnership between those two countries. So I think from the Russian point of view, actually, I think they'll be looking forward to this. And if Biden really does come along and start talking arms control to them, well, they'll feel that, this is all actually really rather good. We're getting an awful lot more out of the Democrats and out of Biden than we ever got out of Trump. Trump wanted to do a deal with us, but he wanted to do it on American terms. We're now going to do a deal with Biden, not actually a deal. We're going to do many micro deals with Biden, on the Middle East, on Syria, on pipelines, on this, on that, on the other. And in the end, it will stack up better for us, because we are much better at playing these micro games with micro deals than we were dealing with Trump, who was trying to negotiate this big deal with us. So that's the difference.
All right, we'll leave it there. Alexander McCurse, thank you very much, guys. If you like this video, click on that subscribe button. Check us out on BitChute, on Odyssey, and on Rumble as well. You'll find those links down below, and also PayPal, Patreon, Subscribestar. Please donate to us in Bitcoin as well. That really helps us out. Check out our Discord server, and of course, go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch. I'm wearing a Duran shirt. We got all kinds of merch, and your purchase really helps out this channel.
Indeed so, and you can see that I'm wearing a wonderful, amazing, marvelous Duran sweatshirt. So we're doing sweatshirts as well as our amazing shirts and polo shirts, t-shirts and polo shirts, and we're also, of course, sweatshirts and hoodies and hats. This is a hat with the flag of the United Kingdom, which you can see there, but we've got hats, truckers' hats and baseball hats with many flags of many countries. Here's one with the flag of Great Britain, and here's another one with the flag of the United States. So you can find our amazing magic mugs also with many flags, and you can also find shirts and mugs with the designs of our friend Dimitri Economou, a very well-known Greek artist, which are exclusive to the Duran. And here you have the British cup of tea on a Duran mug. There's a graphic of a British cup of tea, which is exactly what I tend to drink from my mugs. So you can find us, you can come and support us through our shop by buying this wonderful merchandise, which people are so happy to own. And you can support us by finding us on our platforms and by coming and supporting us through Patreon and Subscribestar. And you can also join us, by the way, on our Discord server. So support us as you can, buy these great things from our shop, and come to our next broadcast.
All right, Alexander Merkel, thank you very much. Till next time, everybody, take care.